It would have been hard to ignore the headline, 1,000 XRP is equivalent to millions, and it was flashed across social media feeds, cryptocurrency forums, and messaging apps. Yes, it was everywhere. Accompanying it were screenshots that claimed insiders at top banks had uncovered a secret formula to transform ordinary holdings into incredible fortune. Simply put, the intrigue was impossible to resist. Everyone involved in the cryptocurrency market, including traders, investors, and enthusiasts, was curious about the possibility of such a conversion. It was hinted in the story that banks somehow valued XRP far more than retail markets, which is a hidden truth that is hidden from the typical investor. The narrative promised a glimpse behind the velvet curtain of institutional finance. The enthusiasm was only fueled by flashy charts, viral threads, and influencers speculating on the exact process. All of these things suggested that if one had the appropriate time, knowledge, or access to insider information, 1,000 XRP might conceivably change into a fortune overnight. The combination of clickbait mathematics and the concept of privileged insight produced a perfect storm, which captivated people's minds and caused waves of fear of missing out, FOMO, to spread across digital platforms. The headlines gave the impression that this was not simply a price increase. Rather, it was a secret that the major financial institutions had been intentionally keeping hidden, and it was a secret that had the potential to completely transform the lives of anyone who discovered it. However, the truth is very much more nuanced and grounded, as it usually is in the crypto world. To begin, the mathematical method itself does not hold up under close examination. In order for 1,000 XRP to be equivalent to $1 million, each XRP would need to be trading at a price that is greater than $1,000. In point of fact, according to the most recent projections, the figure is closer to $2,000 per XRP for a plain computation of millionaires. This makes the headline claim literally unattainable in the relatively immediate future. There are no official bank records, trading data, or market activity that support such an evaluation. Furthermore, any screenshots that have gone viral demonstrating such conversions are either illustrative, misconstrued, or completely faked. On the other hand, this erroneous mathematics serves as a significant hook since it naturally leads into the actual hidden motivations that lie behind the interest that institutions have in XRP, also known as on-demand liquidity, or ODL. Banks, in contrast to regular investors, rarely purchase XRP for the sole purpose of holding it as an asset that is increasing in value. The underlying power rests in its usability as a bridge currency for quick settlement, which enables banks to move liquidity across borders efficiently without locking up billions of dollars in traditional Nostro and Vostro accounts. This is known as the true power of the cryptocurrency. The ODL marks a significant paradigm shift in the way that banks approach the management of their liquidity. In the past, international payments necessitated the establishment of pre-funded accounts in the countries of destination, which resulted in the preservation of money and the accumulation of large expenditures over time. In a matter of seconds, Ripple's ODL solution enables financial institutions to acquire liquidity in a dynamic manner at the precise moment when it is required. This is accomplished by converting the local currency into XRP, transferring it quickly through the XRP ledger, and converting it back into the destination currency. Pre-funding is no longer required. As a result of this, it dramatically reduces the amount of capital that banks are required to keep aside, which frees up millions of dollars in operational costs and improves the efficiency of balance. As a result of this, financial institutions are including the technology in their payment infrastructure, conducting experiments with live transactions, and committing to using the XRP ledger as part of their infrastructure. Taking a look at the technology that lies beneath ODL is helpful in gaining a comprehensive understanding of its significance. The XRP ledger has the capacity to process thousands of transactions per second, and it can settle those transactions in as little as 3 to 5 seconds. This capabilities far surpass the capacity and speed of traditional SWIFT transfers. Transparency, immutability, and security are all guaranteed by the decentralized architecture of the ledger, which is appealing to regulated financial institutions that are looking to comply with regulations and maintain operational reliability. By utilizing XRP as a bridge asset, financial institutions are able to speed currency conversions, reduce counterparty risk, and eliminate delays, all of which have a direct impact on their bottom line. When put into practice, this can result in millions of dollars in capital being saved annually, depending on the volume of transactions and the amount of exposure to international exchange. Despite the fact that this does not immediately turn retail holders into billionaires, it does explain why banks place such a high strategic value on XRP, which in turn fuels actual demand, which is the foundation of its market liquidity. The institutional viewpoint also sheds insight on the reasons why XRP may be more useful to major financial institutions than it is to individual traders. It is not a speculative asset that banks perceive XRP as. Rather, they see it as a tool for improving operational efficiency. As opposed to being a fixed investment, each unit of XRP functions more like a liquid conduit or a tokenized bridge that allows for rapid confirmation of transactions. The so-called secret formula is not about multiplying a holding by a hypothetical market cap. Rather, it is about calculating the cost, savings, speed, and risk mitigation that XRP provides within high-volume banking operations. This method is referred to as the secret formula. It is possible for institutions to justify increased allocations to XRP and operational reserves by quantifying these efficiencies. This is not a speculative move, but rather a practical asset class that benefits their financial systems. It is important to grasp the difference between hype-driven speculation and utility-driven demand, and this perspective explains why banks might value the token differently than public market traders. In addition, it emphasizes the significance of understanding the difference between the two. With regard to the broader ramifications for the financial system, they are, to put it mildly, considerable. Payments made across international borders are typically delayed, expensive, and fragmented. They may include a number of intermediaries and take a considerable amount of time to settle. These pain points are directly addressed by the adoption of XRP through ODL, which provides near-rapid settlement, decreased operational risk, and greater transparency all at the same time. This has a revolutionary effect not only on financial institutions like banks, but also on enterprises, remittance services, and fintech platforms that are dependent on liquidity that is both quick and reliable. XRP has carved out a practical and scalable niche in global finance, a niche that continues to expand as institutions adopt the technology and integrate it into core infrastructure. While headlines focus on speculative gains and viral math equations, the underlying story is that XRP has carved out a position in global banking that is both practical, cowl, and scalable. Additionally, the strategic utility of XRP as a liquidity instrument extends to emerging economies, which is a significant advantage. Through the utilization of ODL, financial investors and observers are able to evaluate the actual potential of the asset in a framework that is measurable and operational when they have a solid understanding of XRP's adoption, ledger performance, and ODL utility. Another reason why regulatory clarity is important is explained by this perspective. In order for banks to implement XRP and international transactions,